Okay, Yud Chesem and Aleph on the bottom. We just left off with this yesterday. Reb Shimon says in the Mishnah that if a person writes a get and dates it during the daytime and has it signed at night, it's valid. The Kama says it's possible. Reb Shimon Machshir, Omer of my time to Reb Shimon. Sovar came in Shinos and Ein of Lagar Shushuvein Lo Perus. What was the whole issue? When does the husband forfeit his rights to the Yusufruch, to the profits of the properties that the woman brought into the marriage? Okay? Is it when the get is ready to be given? That's only after the Chasima. So if that's the case, let's say it's written, it's signed during the day and signed at night. Okay? So that means, when did he actually forfeit the fruits, the harvest? The nighttime. The next day. If you're of the opinion that you need Chasima to forfeit it. No. There was a machlokes by Reb Shimon, Reish Lakish, and Reb Yochanan, according to the Chacham. Right? That's why. But if you hold, the reason why you have to date it is because of Perus. Right? So according to Tanakama, when does he forfeit the rights to the Perus? Chasima.
So what is Chasima? Chasima is
when the 8 witnesses sign.
When this is signed, when it's given? Or
no. They don't say when it's given. When the Sofer writes it, and after he finishes writing, it's signed.
So we just said, so it's written during the day.
So if it's written during the day, wait. It's dated. Date, and the Chasima is at night. The signatures, the witness put the signatures at night, so the night is the following day. Right? Okay. So now, if you have the opinion that he only loses his rights to the profits of the properties when it's signed, so let's say he sold it during the daytime, before they were signed at night. The woman is going to go and contest the sale, right? The wife, because she says the document is dated on the day that he sold it. But factually, when did he forfeit his rights? When they were signed, which was the next day. So that's why the Chacham say the document's not a valid document. That it's because it's predated, it'll be used illegally, therefore we invalidate the document. Reb Shimon says no. The moment it's written, even before it's signed, he's already forfeited his rights. So when she presents that document with that date tells us when he actually lost his rights. So therefore, rightfully, she's taking what's rightfully hers. That's the machlokas, the Tanakama and Reb Shimon. Okay?
We're only talking the get, though, not a star.
Talking about the get.
Right.
Okay? Not talking about a ksuba here.
I'm not saying, but not a regular star.
Regular star, it's something else.
Yeah.
Validating the document is the major issue, right? The major implication is they have to validate it right away. Otherwise, if they give it to her, it's not noticed and it's not recognized, then there's all sorts of issues.
We had earlier. A document without a date, the child is not a mamzer.
Right.
I mean, rabbinically, she needs another get. We're not going to let her remain with the husband, with this new husband, unless she gets another get. That's Gimel Gitten Psulin. One is the way the date is a faulty date. Okay, we'll see. Who? No, one second. No. Even Reb Yochanan said, I agree with you, Reb Shimon. Right? He says, I'm only in the Chachamim. Is it because of Perus or is it because of Shemichap al-Basa Choso? Right? But Reb Shimon says, I agree with you. The reason is Perus. Okay? Omri Shlok Shlichisha Reb Shimon El Alter. That's only if the get is going to be given immediately. Aval Mikan Varasori Yomim Lo. But if it's only from now, after there's going to be a 10-day delay, not. Why? Chayshinon Shemapiyes. Where we're concerned that maybe he said there was a reconciliation and he had relations with her before the get was given, and as a result of that, the get is not a valid get. Rashi says Shemapiyes. So therefore, the get which ultimately is given was rabbinically was not a good get.
But according to Rabbi Shimon, who says that the moment the get is written, the husband forgoes
his rights. Correct.
Okay. So narrowing it to the only applies the night of that day, as we just read, but it doesn't apply to 2 weeks later. Is that Rabbi Shimon now invoking Hefker best Hefker? Because he has a principle that the moment it's written, the economics are over.
Correct.
So why does he say no if it's 2 weeks? I understand.
One second.
What about the economics?
We're invalidating the get. We're talking about the get. We're not even talking about a kanaksa any longer. The get cannot be used. Initially, he forfeits it. Maybe it has to be reinstated. But now, if the get is going to be delayed, there's a question over here of what? He may have had relations with her. That's peace. Peace means that somehow he appeased her. There was a reconciliation between the two of them. So as a result of that, the get, we're not talking about any longer about the perus. We're speaking about the validity of the get. Is the get still valid? Because the Mishnah discussed, is it valid or is it not valid? So we discuss why is it not valid.
But going down, before we come to that question, Rabbi Shimon would say that the man has foregone his...
Well, we'll see.
But now, if the get is, if we retroactively say the get is possible.
It's not retroactive. It's as a result of the delay. It's become possible.
It's become possible.
So now
then everything is reinstated.
Would be reinstated. We'll see.
Beis Hamikdash is really saying that it's immediate. That the get has to be done everything at the same time.
Right.
So how does he hold then that the payros are the predated for the payros? The payros is when he dates it. If the date and the
Reb Shimon
at
says
the same time.
that's only if the Nesina happens soon after, immediately afterwards, the day that it was signed. But we say if he says it's only after 10 days, the get should be given.
Right.
Now, where there's a concern, there may be a reconciliation between the two of them.
So Beis Hamikdash is saying it's not valid then.
The get's not valid.
It has to be on the same day.
Again, Reb Shimon says if it's signed if the date in one day is signed in the next day, it's valid.
Correct.
So what about if it'll be 2 weeks later? Would it be valid?
So I say no.
We say it's no.
Right.
Because if it's given the next day, there's not a concern, maybe he had relations with her. Right? But if it happens 2 weeks later, since it wasn't signed yet, maybe he had relations. Therefore, the get, ultimately, rabbinically, is not a valid get. It has to be the next day. We'll see. Reb Yochanan Amar, 1 second.
On this question, if that is the concern, that he may have reconciled with her, why don't we have the same concern about the timing of the delivery versus the signing of the get? A man writes a get, he gets it signed, and it's only delivered 2 weeks later. Why aren't we...
As a result of what? As a result of what? We said earlier, send it overseas.
No, he may not have delivered it.
Well,
It may not be delivered.
normally we say a person does deliver it. It is. A person normally does. We said the person doesn't write a get unless it's meant to be given immediately. Of course, it's a document which spells this tragedy, and a person doesn't introduce tragedy in his life unless he's holding that he has to terminate the relationship. Right? That's the verse of Zalman Aleph. Okay?
You know, it's like when...
Wait, before you say that, the Gemara asked, so what about Sholech Get Medina Sayam? Right? Wait, so it's cold. So that's Rabbi Yochanan is going to argue Reish Lakish. If there's strain between the two of them, to say there may have been reconciliation, if there was, there'd be a cold. People would know about it. Here they've been fighting every night. Every night, you know, they've been keeping the neighbors up all night. All of a sudden, it's quiet. So that itself indicates that there was a reconciliation with them. But if it continues, there's not a concern maybe they got together somehow. So Rabbi Yochanan argues on this. So even if it's not given immediately the next day, he's forfeited his rights to the payros because that was when he intended to divorce her, and the invalidation of the get has no application because there's no concern. Maybe there was a reconciliation.
But what happens we live in a very litigious society. The only way a lawsuit can be brought is if one is delivered with papers, just like the giving of the get to the woman. So when we know that there's a nuisance lawsuit, I make myself completely, and many people, they make themselves completely unavailable. There's no way I'm going to let you deliver this to me. And there are people out there who are skilled in how to find
evading
even on the street.
Oh, yeah.
They're private, and they'll come up to you in the street and deliver it to you. So here a woman knows the husband, the marriage is over. She doesn't want to receive the get. She makes herself unavailable. No, she doesn't have a court yet. You know, so we're saying a man writes and signs a get, we're presuming that it's delivered immediately. That's a pretty big assumption.
Let's understand something. What is she can say? She has nothing to gain by what the man has no interest in her. She doesn't want to get. The court's going to say, you know, you're not going to be supported any longer. So what's the value of holding the husband up? He can marry 6 other women, right? Right. So if it's written, he's going to give it. There's no reason for her to evade him. The only reason why he doesn't want to give it immediately because maybe there'll be a reconciliation. He doesn't want it to be given immediately. So if there's be reconciliation, let's be concerned maybe he had relations with her. Right? So that's Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan says, Afilu mikan v'asara yomim. Afilu. Even if it's extended to that degree where maybe there should be a concern, there is no concern. Why? Im isa the PA's kol islay lemilsa. Because if there was reconciliation, word would get out, so Rashi says. Because every night they're fighting, quarreling, and all of a sudden they're not, so the neighbors would sense that. And since the neighbors didn't sense a change in relationship, therefore the presumption is there was no reconciliation. Therefore the get is a valid get. Okay? Wait 1 second. This is very important tosis. Chayshin Hashem b'piyes. Ein lahakshas begin abom b'dinas hayam. With the case on Amar Aleph. Person sends a get from overseas. Ubemashlish get liishto. He gives the get to a third party. Amay lo chayshin Hashem b'piyes. Right? The get, he sends a get from b'dinas hayam. Maybe before she received it, he had relations with her because there's a delay in time. Or he gives it to a third party. The hochohu the chayshin tfeil v'shadayin lo nechtam. There the get was written and signed, and it's on its way. Here the get wasn't yet, the signature wasn't put on. So since it hasn't been fully finalized, kiyimit mispayes nami leka kolo. So therefore there's a concern, there's Reish Lakish. So even if there's reconciliation, there won't be a call. V'chein ki yom l'asora chasuma v'chasum beitrei biyomei. The somach rogel l'spayis kem shlo chos muklat. Tzrichem lachim. Okay. Aval kishvak chos mukol ha'edim beget u'mezumen li'nosein. Once a get is ready to go, ein rogel l'spayis. It's already too late. Because the wife understands, and he understands, it's too far gone. U'shechozer mispayis hakol margishin. Hear what he's saying? If a relationship is strained to such a degree that he's already signed it, if there should be a reconciliation, word's going to get out. It's word's going to get out. There's a case over there later. Person sent the get to his wife. And he said to the agent who's delivering it, so there you have a get written and signed. Gave it to the shlich to deliver. He says, but I only want it to be delivered after 30 days. Only after 30 days. We just said that if there's reconciliation once it's signed, word would get out. Yet over there the Gemara asks, the Gemara says, let's be concerned, maybe there was some reconciliation. What the Gemara answered just simply as we just said, that once it's signed, ready to be given, if there would be reconciliation, word would get out. So what's the Gemara's question over there? Because he said, given it 30 days, we're concerned there may be a reconciliation. Person says, gives his wife a get to take effect retroactively if he doesn't return in 12 months. So the Gemara asks, or it should take effect in 12 months. Maybe in the interim, he had relations with her. What do you mean? He gave her the get. It's signed and sealed. So we said, if there's a reconciliation, word will get out. He gave it to her. And he says to her, if I'm not back in 12 months, the get should be a get. But it was written and signed. She has it in her hand.
It was the David Melech.
No, David Melech was better. That was retroactive.
Since he gave it to her, is the divorce effective immediately?
No. Only if the man doesn't come back from the front, then it's effective, retroactive from the time she received it.
In this case?
No, he says, here's a get. If I don't return in 12 months, the get should be a get in 12 months.
It's not retroactive.
It's not retroactive. So what happens? So the Gemara asks, let's be concerned. Maybe he had relations with her.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean? No, because if he had relations,
The get doesn't. The get is irrelevant.
it's the same thing, doesn't it? But it's dated from today. Doesn't make a difference. Get Yoshon.
Why is it a get Yishan if the condition is that it doesn't take effect till 12 months from now?
Because when is it dated? When is it dated? The date is 12 months earlier. So if she gives birth late, she gives birth 12 months later, and the date is 12 months before the child was born. It's clear he had relations with her after the get, after she was divorced. They're going to say the child was born out of wedlock.
But we're dealing with a case where he's gone for a year.
We don't know where he's
Don't
going.
come back.
Yeah, but the Gemara still asks. Maybe in the interim maybe they met him somewhere. Wait. When you send a get from overseas, although till it's given, there's this hiatus of time, there's no concern he may have reconciled. Why? The husband doesn't know how quickly the agent is going to arrive. That means the husband has to arrive before the agent. He's not going to bother himself to make the trip, where she already may not be his wife. Person's not going to take that initiative, not knowing maybe she's divorced already. When you give the get to a third party, to hold the get to be given to your wife. Here, when you give a get to a third party, it says, give it when I tell you to give it. So they're both in the same view. And he doesn't leave the community. He moved out of the house because the relationship is strained, and he gave the get to a third party. And he's in the same city. So factually, they're not getting together. That's the presumption. So what does he tell the third party? When I tell you, give it. He only wants to turn the screws on her. He wants to make life difficult. If you hear and she's here, once you give the get it over with. The answer is he wants to make her life difficult. He's taunting her. The delay is not because he wants reconciliation. But what if he leaves the community? They're not in the same community. He's concerned that she may end up to be an aguna, right? Because they won't know if he doesn't return. They're not going to know whether he's alive or not alive. So there is a relationship. He's given the get out of concern, not because he wants to hurt her. It's really he's giving the get to be in her best interest. She shouldn't be left in a questionable state. So when he sets the time, since there is a relationship, there's a concern he may return before the 12 months period. So that's the first question. Because since the relationship, he only gave the get, it's in her best interest. Not because the relationship was failing. If the relationship was strained, so there's fighting, also there's quiet. That creates the call. But if initially, it wasn't because it was a strained relationship. It was only out of concern for her. The Gemara asked a good question. So if he has relations with her, nobody's going to know the difference. Therefore, there's a concern of get Yoshon.
So if he goes off to war, says I'm going off to war.
So the Gemara asked a good question. Let's be concerned about get Yoshon. There is.
Right.
Why did he give the get? Because he wanted to end his relationship? No.
Not because he wants to
He
protect her.
wants to protect her.
Right.
So let's say we're unaware he came back and he had relations with her.
Right.
So if you look at the get, the date is when? The date is 12 months earlier. So if the child is born, what are we going to say? The child was born out of wedlock. So we should, if that's the reason, we should invalidate the get for that reason.
But that get that David Melech wrote said, if the person does not return from the battlefront, then the get is effective retroactively to the date it was given.
So even if he's killed,
Even if it's
if he's
that's
killed
what's
afterwards, if he's killed, the get is retroactive because he never returned.
because he never returned. So if this man did return, it's automatically an invalidation of the get.
Sure.
He came back for a furlough, a 1 week furlough, gone, it's finished.
It's not simple. No.
Right. I mean, if he's coming back for 1 week furlough after being at the front for 6 months, for sure we have presumed
No,
that
may-
relationship with his wife.
Oh, you mean that? Relations?
I mean,
Definitely.
because it's been 12 weeks.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
You will invalidate the get.
You'll invalidate
No, I thought you'd say because the get was only given if he doesn't return. So when he returns, so the get is terminated at that moment.
Yeah, that's what
No,
I'm saying.
no. That would be terminated on a Torah level. Get Yoshin's rabbinically, it's invalidated. If he says until I return, it's a get. If I don't, so if he returns, that's the end of the story. The get has no value any longer, right? No, but it could be if I don't ultimately I don't return, because we want the get to be on file. Because if he's going back to the front, again you have the same problem.
Doesn't it have to start again and do a new one?
Because to get Yoshin, you'd have to have a new one. Because as he's saying, because that would be a rabbinic invalidation, not a Torah invalidation. He'd have to give it to get over again. If it's get Yoshin, he can't use the a new get has to be written.
So why would be a Raisa validation? Because of the way it was written.
Because it was given on a condition,
It was given
and the condition was met. Therefore, was not met. Therefore, let's say now he goes back and he we don't know if he's alive, dead or alive. She's an aguna, right? Right? Because he said he returned once already.
The get is written, I may come back and go and come and go back and furlough, but
Then the get is on.
whenever I leave, if I never return, the get is...
The get is good.
Then I can understand.
No. But then you have a problem with get Yosha, because he came back on furlough. He may have relations with her.
Yes, but then that's fine. But now the get takes that into consideration.
How does
And now he goes back.
How does it take into get Yosha? You can't take into consideration because you have a date on it. Let's say she gives birth. She conceives 6 months, 2 years later, and now she shows that she's divorced. And what date is in the get? The date is the date when he gave her the get initially.
So then how did
So the child, I'm not sure how we worked it out.
Because that's a good question.
When you
Either you'd have to say that get Yoshin is a rabbinic law. They didn't legislate that law yet at the time of David HaMelech. But if they did, then it's a
So
problem.
every time they came and went, they would have to...
They'd have to give a new
Yeah,
get.
that would make sense.
Right.
why does the get have to be reflected? I mean, you just
Because
say come by such and such a date, the get will take effect.
No, because he may be dead already. But he may be alive. He may be dead then. We don't know if he's dead or alive.
Right.
Right? It's en get lachamisa. There comes up with yibum. Right? If there were no children.
That's why they do retroactively, because you don't really know the evils.
Yeah, she's not permitted to remarry.
But Dr. Melech, with that, you have to be sure that Uriah was dead. Because
He sent him to the front. He wasn't coming back.
No, he waited for the messenger to come back.
No, he had relations with him before. Before he put himself in the Suffolk Ish.
but he knew that he could control the situation.
Right. He sent him that he's not coming back.
Rabbi, you explained this previously, but during the war, a woman, a husband is sent to war or concentration camp, and he doesn't come back. She's a Naguna.
Why is she in Aguna? Because you don't know if he's alive or not alive.
Yeah, so is she a Naguna?
What is Aguna? Aguna means a questionable widow. She's in a questionable widow state. Is she a widow or is she not a widow?
At what point can she remarry?
It has to be proven that the husband is no longer alive. You could have certain circumstantial evidence. If it's strong enough, she could remarry. But if it's not strong-
In Auschwitz,
It's not simple. Not simple.
No, there's not even ashes.
If you had an eyewitness, which very often you did have,
yeah.
because there were other inmates, okay, so then she could remarry.
Okay.
But if
and
there's
then
no
she remarries,
and then the husband shows up,
yes.
so
What happens?
she can't be with the second. She's a married woman,
Yes.
so the second man has to separate from her.
And
And
she
the
can't go
children-
back to the first one.
That's if only it was the testimony of one witness. But if it was two witnesses, she goes back to the first husband,
She can do that.
And
because
the
that's bona
children-
fide testimony.
And the children of
A
the
mamzerim,
second-
a mamzerim.
Mamzerim.
She's a married woman, right? Okay. Okay. Itmar. There's another Tosas here. We'll leave it for tomorrow. Itmar. Omalasur kisu get lishti. Person says to 10 people, I want you to write a get for my wife. Om Rabbi Yochanan. Shnaim em edim. V'kulam mishum tanai. Two of the witnesses, when they sign are edim. The others are only, it's a condition. So what validates the get, makes the get into a get? The 2 witnesses. The additional witnesses, that's the condition. When is it a get? Only if you have 10. Meaning you have to have an additional 8 witnesses. It's like a person says, I'm going to write a get on the condition you give me so much money. It's a condition. If she doesn't give the money, the get's not a get. If you don't have all the signatures, although the other signatures are not there to validate the get as witnesses, but it's a condition. They have to be signed. No. When he says he wants 10, it's not a tanai, but every one of them, he wants 10 witnesses on this get. And if they're not 10 witnesses, the get's not a get. No. We'll see. No, that means they have to be involved. We'll see. If he didn't say to them, I want all of you people. He says, I want you to write a get for my wife. And it's valid. All he says, you 10 people, I want, he didn't say all of you. He says, I want to get written for my wife. So he meant among the 10, the get should be written and 2 should sign. So if 3 of the 10 write, 1 writes, 2 sign, it's valid. Eldama kulchem. So he was very clear what his intent was. He says, I want you all to be involved in the get. That means all 10 of them have to have their signatures on the get. My benai. What's the halachic difference between Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish if it's a condition or they're actually signing as witnesses? It could be now the chosim beitrei minayu biyomei veinech mikant asor yomin. 2 sign, it's dated. 2 sign on the day that it's dated, and the additional sign on the next day, or over a period of time. Mandiyam mishum tenai kosher. That's not considered predated get, right? Because the get already assumed the status of a get the moment it was signed. 2 of them signed. The condition is no different. Says if you give me so much money. Or mandiyam mishum meidim posel. But according to Rish Lakish, there's no all 10 when they signed the signing as witnesses. So it comes out the document was not validated as a document until what? Until all 10 had the signatures on it. So it's as if it wasn't signed. It wasn't signed on the day that it was dated. Inami, another halach difference to Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. Let's say one of the 10 was found to be related or not qualified to be a witness. Kosher. Of course, the other's not signing as witnesses. The after 2, the additional are not witnesses. So therefore, what is it? Therefore, it's kosher. It's kosher. But according to Rish Lakish, that he wants everyone to sign as a qualified witness. It's possible because you have to meet the criteria of what being a kosher witness.
So it invalidates the whole get if one of them is found to be invalid.
But that's only if they're signing if he wants them to sign as witnesses. But if you want them to sign because you just want to embarrass the woman, have more people involved, there should be great embarrassment. So they're not signing as witnesses. They're just signing that it should be a public event that to cause a greater level of embarrassment.
So even if he's an Edim Zomimim, it doesn't invalidate the get.
Okay, Rabbi showing his proficiency in Shas right now. What does Edim Zomim have to do with this?
A false witness.
No, that's not Edim Zomim. We're talking he's posel, he's a thief, he's a ganav, he's a gambler, which the Mishnah says Sanhedrin is not qualified to be a witness. He signed. It's not going to invalidate the get because he's not signing as a witness. He's just signing as he wants an individual should have more people should have their signatures on the get. According to Rabbi Yochanan. That's the next question. Because the question is, are we speaking of the first 2 signed were kosher, and therefore the subsequent witnesses are purely tanai, or it doesn't make a difference? As long as 2 of the 10 are kosher, that's enough. Okay?
In terms of construing the statement,
What?
which probably doesn't read the 2 equally valid approaches, whether the conditions inside or outside.
What do you mean? Isn't so?
When he makes a statement, you can take it 1 of 2 ways. Either
When he says
say
kulchem, he
all
says I
people
want
or 2.
he says I want all of you people to be involved. What is the intent? He wants them all to be witnesses, or 2 to be witnesses. The others just should put their signatures on the document. That's
2 equally valid ways of construing that statement.
We want to know what the intention is. We're evaluating what is the statement. What does it mean?
We don't have any other
Consideration.
consideration.
We'll say, I chosum. Let's see. So now the Gemara has a question. I chosum b'tchila korav u'posum. What happens if the first two witnesses who signed, there's two signatures, they were korav u'posum, were not qualified? So if the first two are kosher, there's no question. The subsequent signatures, according to Rabbi Yochanan, is not a problem. What about if the first two who sign are korav u'posum related or some other invalidation? Ami lo kosher, v'ami lo posel. Some say it's a kosher get, others say it's posel. Ami lo kosher, those who say it's kosher, it's not you. As long as 2 of the 10 are valid, doesn't make a difference. Right? According to Rabbi Yochanan, Ami lo posel. 1 second. Osi, Ami lo posel, osi lachluf b'shtoros, dalma. Let's say it would not be a get. What's the reason why we say it's a Tanai when he says I want 10? Because we say Lutzura Kamachavin. His intent is only to give her a hard time, to embarrass her. But let's say it's a monetary document. So what does he want 10 witnesses? For whatever reason he wants 10. He wants 10 signatures on it. 10 people should sign that loan document. That the person shouldn't in any way be able to, whatever, to deny the loan. If you have 10 signatures. So that it's clear, it's Eidim. Right? But over here, where it's Tanai, so if we validate it, if you have 2 who are posel, what if it's Oslachlu Bishtoris Dalma?
In the monetary one, if he wants 10 witnesses, it's a detriment to him because
Wait 1 second.
any one of those 10
1 second. Amri lo kosher. The man di yomem mishum Tanai, which Rabbi Yochanan, Davagav diichtim bereisha korv posel leedus tiskayim beruyim leedus. Right? Even though if the first 2 are not qualified, the document will be validated with the other witnesses. Vuye choshev l'tanai dimistoma es aksheri mino l'shem edus v'akorav l'tanai. That's a presumption. 2 are validated because they're the others. Us l'chu b'shtar shtos. They came in the chosim b'reisha. Since the first 2 who signed initially were korv apostle. Us l'meim is zevad l'shem edus chosam. Why did he have them sign first? Evidently, his intention was what? They should be witnesses. V'yachshira korv b'chol hashtoros. He always learned. If this document is validated by the court with the first 2 korv apostle, people can say the court says, despite the issue, they're qualified witnesses, and they're going to sign other documents. It creates a problem. No. We're talking about if the first 2, and you're going to have a head pick. They're going to certify the document as being a valid document, even though they knew it was korv apostle. So people can say, these 2 people, they're qualified. No, that's exactly. Osel l'chlufi means they're going to actually use these witnesses. These witnesses are being established as kosher witnesses to be able to sign other documents. Okay, we'll stop here.